Hi there, I'm Timothy Carroll, CEO and founder of the Carroll Consultancy Group. We're a boutique consultancy firm that dramatically develops people and performance. Today, we are hanging out with William Trubridge, a multiple world record holding freediver from New Zealand, who's based in the Bahamas, like myself, and who takes performance to a completely different level for a human being underwater. I'm super excited about this interview and finding out a bit more about what makes William tick and what he's up to. So let's get to it. Mate, good to see you. Where are you right now? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, now I'm in Tahiti. I just got here a couple of days ago. I'm going to be here in a month. It's whale season, so hopefully I'm going to be diving with some humpback whales as well.
Michael and you started back then, but then you took it to a whole new level. So how long have you been freediving for now? And give us a little background on your accomplishments as well.
So I started in 2003 with a course with Umberto, and I've been training and competing ever since. So 15 years, I guess. And in 2007, I set my first world record in unassisted freediving, where we swim without any fins or propulsion assistance of any kind. That was 80 meters. Since then, I've broken that record several times and taken it down to beyond 100 meters. It's now 102, and also broken records in other disciplines. So I have 18 so far in my career.
Unbelievable.
And I specialize in that discipline, the unassisted, no fins, what I call like the purest form of freediving.
What is it that drives you? What is it? When did you decide that this was going to be your life and you were going to dedicate your life to this? And tell us a little bit about that.
It's something that you only really need to explain to someone who hasn't tried freediving. As soon as you try it, you know, you get it. It's clear why it is so attractive and such a beautiful experience. And if you think about it, we live our lives above the surface in gas. The kind of so-called aquatic sports that we take part in, they all happen on the interface, the boundary between air and water. They're not taking place underwater. Even scuba diving, you're taking down.
Yeah, I know all about that.
Exactly, yeah.
You're right, yeah. Like zooming across the top of the water and yeah.
So if you're in the water as a barefoot water skier, then you're doing it wrong, right?
Yeah.
So freediving is the only sport where you're actually in complete immersion in that world underwater on its own terms. And when you have that experience and you feel how liberating it can be, not just physically, but mentally, it strips away every thought, worry, hope, fear that you have. You just kind of focus you in on the present moment automatically. You don't need to do kind of meditative techniques to achieve that. It just has that effect. And the deeper you go, the more you go into that, and the more you go inside yourself and you experience just what it is to be pure consciousness without sensory information, without thoughts, without kind of emotions and fears and worries. So yeah, that's only one of the many appeals. I mean, I could go on and talk about how the experience of kind of being weightless and flying underwater, the beauty of being able to interact with underwater life like dolphins or sharks.
So when did you decide to pursue freediving as a sport, and why did you decide that? Like, was it just because of the experience, or did you decide that this is going to be my life purpose, or how does it relate to your purpose in life?
So I decided very early on after I got into it that it was. I knew. I mean, you do know when you find your passion.
Yeah.
I dedicated myself at that point to the sport, well, more just to kind of the pursuit of human aquatic potential, finding out what we are capable of as a species. And yeah, I've been lucky enough to be able to make a career out of it since then.
what are three things or a couple of things that you could share with the listeners on what freediving has taught you about life, about yourself, and about how to perform, for example?
So some of the things that come to mind would be, I mean, the most obvious one is our place in the world and the importance of protecting the marine environment. It's the oceans, the seas, the waterways are the lifeblood of our planet. And if we overpollute them or change the balance of those ecosystems, then that blood will start flowing and it'll kill the rest of the planet along with us. So yeah, that's the most important thing that I've seen firsthand, because I can compare the oceans and the coral reefs that I see now with those that I saw in my childhood. And there's night and day. I mean, most of the coral reefs are dead or dying. So it's really a critical moment in our history to try and turn that around and save these ecosystems. But more on a personal level, freediving's taught me that it's taught me about the difference between skill or a talent and an application for training. So you can be naturally gifted in a sport or an activity or any walk of life, but that's only going to get you so far. Normally it's not going to get you anywhere near the top. Whereas with application, with training, with hard work and discipline and focus, then even if you start off with no talent, you can still go all the way to the top. And often in cases, that initial gift or talent can almost be like a handicap, because it gives you a sense of complacency or even conceit. That makes you think like you don't need to work for it. So often we see athletes who have very normal physiological traits who are the most successful. And in my case, I mean, I'm very lucky in that I had this childhood living on a boat, and so for me, that's an advantage, because I was always comfortable in the water, always at home in the sea. But I don't believe I've done like a full DNA analysis of all my genes, and I've measured all my parameters, and I've yet to come across one that is very much in favor of me doing well in freediving, such as having like a much bigger lung volume or much higher concentration of red blood cells, or anything along those lines. So at the start, when I got into freediving, I had very normal breath hold time, performance. And over the years with training and discipline, that's improved to the point where I am now. So that's one of the most important lessons it's taught me, and that you can apply to any application in life. Of course, we have to apply ourselves and be disciplined and focused in order to achieve in careers, and also in relationships and day-to-day personal life.
So what is success to you then, mate?
Success would be kind of getting as close as you can to your own potential. So that might not be a world record or a national record, but if you can do a dive where you feel, or do any kind of performance where you feel like you've maximized your potential, you've come as close as you can to it, then you're successful. And 9 times out of 10, that's going to have a return to it. When you apply yourself 100% and you do the best you can, then that's almost always going to be rewarded in some way. Often we can sometimes kind of shortchange ourselves in the sense that we feel like we're doing our best, or we say we're doing our best, but we're not actually going that extra distance. When you're in a gymnasium and you're working out, when you feel like you have to stop, if someone was there, I don't know, with a gun to your head saying, okay, now do 5 more, you could, of course, do 5 more. So our actual potential is almost always a long way beyond where we eventually call it quits. And so a lot of it is about trying to kind of encroach in that territory, that zone between when you feel like you've maxed out and when you actually have maxed out.
That's right.
Not just in something that's physical, but in everything. And one of the ways that one of the tricks that I use to achieve this in record attempts is to try and think of what is necessary to make something inevitable. So not just to kind of give yourself the best shot at it, but to make it inevitable that you succeed. And when you take that mindset and that approach, then it forces you to come up with a whole new set of strategies and methods in order to go that extra distance.
Moving into Hawaii, very soon you have deeper performance, correct? Is coming.
Deeper development.
Deeper performance is part of deeper development. The deeper development is coming to Hawaii, and you are going to be there with Tom. What's Tom's?
Tom Bilyeu.
Yeah, it's very difficult to pronounce that for me. I wasn't sure how to pronounce that. What's his name again? Tom
Bilyeu.
Correct. So yourself and Tom are teaming up. You've invited them to Hawaii, and you're going to be holding an event over the period of a week where you're going to be taking people and helping them to learn the skills that you've learned about peak performance and pushing beyond the limit and achieving things you can achieve. And of course, Tom, as we know, is one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the US, and has Quest Nutrition developed a huge company, and phenomenal guy. Now interviewing people. What was the name of his talk show that he has now on TV?
It's called Impact Theory. So it's broadcast mostly on YouTube, but it's a really successful platform, and he's interviewed all the top influencers like Tony Robbins, Jim Quick, Brendan Burchard, all those kind of people.
Yeah.
And tried to kind of like distill the essence of how they teach their methods and their messages, and give that material freely to the world. So his kind of move now has been into trying to give back after being successful himself. Now he wants to give those same tools to the greatest audience possible.
So what is it? Why did you invite Tom? There's a lot of people around the world that you could have picked to go to Hawaii with. What was it that attracted you to invite Tom to join you in Hawaii?
Because he's very expert at getting to those kernels, those seeds of truth that unlock like a higher state of mind. Like we're talking now about the idea of trying to make something inevitable rather than giving it your best shot.
Yep.
And that's just one of many of the kinds of techniques that he would teach in order to access a higher level or higher operational levels. So he's probably one of the best in the world at finding those, isolating them, and then conveying them to groups of people. And this is one of the few times that I'm aware of that he is actually doing kind of a small group. With deeper development, we are limited to a maximum of 16 people, and typically the groups are like 12, around that number. And so there's a incredible chance to have one-on-one time with him and to have kind of a direct interaction and really kind of reap the benefits of all his wisdom and knowledge in those fields.
Why did you decide to hold this training? You know, you're a freediver based in the Bahamas, and you know, what was the big motivation to start to move into personal development and training?
What I've seen in freediving is that among all the other advantages, it's also a extremely powerful tool to convince people of their unlimited potential. So if you tell someone, okay, you can do more than you think, you have this great, amazing potential, you can do whatever you set your mind to, then people may even believe that, but not still not be 100% convinced, or not kind of subconsciously convinced. Until you actually experience it, then the message isn't really kind of made permanent in your psyche. And experiencing it, or the way that we do that, one of the best ways that I found is to take people underwater in depth, or even in a swimming pool, holding their breath, and show them that they are capable of so much more than they expect. So if someone who has never been off the surface at the end of the week is diving to 15, 20 meters, then that opens a whole new world for them. Or if they're holding their breath for 3-4 minutes when they didn't even expect to be able to do 1 minute, then it's proven to them that they have this capacity. And so the two tools go very well hand in hand. Tom Bilyeu's teaching of kind of an understanding of how to achieve, what achievement means, the boundlessness of our capacity. Those teachings go really well hand in hand with excursions and freediving in these incredible waters. And on the other hand, we're diving in a whale sanctuary, in a whale garden. Basically, we have like these humpbacks breaching around the boat. Yeah. Anytime you do a dive, it's just like a symphony of, I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of whale voices that you hear, just like echoing each other, calling, singing to each other. So it's an amazing place to have that kind of an experience or an awakening. So that's the key kind of message of the course, is giving someone the tool to really embed and realize that they are this incredibly boundless, unlimited human being.
Who is this event for in Hawaii, really?
Yeah, there's really no restrictions on who can freedive. Unless you have some kind of critical heart condition, then in that case, you'd be advised not to hold your breath and go underwater. But otherwise, anyone can do it. And the course is aimed, it is a luxury retreat, so that the price tag is on the higher level.
Yeah.
And it's aimed at people who want that experience and who can benefit from the kind of teachings that Tom offers.
Exactly. So it would be best suited for business leaders, for professional athletes, or anyone who wants to take their performance to a whole different level, whether it be in business or life or sport, or is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, in the past we've had people from all walks of life, all kind of professions who are interested and involved in this. And I really believe that anyone can benefit. But obviously, if someone who does want to kind of operate at a higher capacity, take their performance in business or in sport to a higher level, then they will really benefit from these techniques.
So what do you think will be some takeaways for people who are interested in going? What would you like to impart, or for the participants to really take away? For those people listening, maybe you could share a couple of things about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, the main message is the one that I stated, that that we really don't have limits, or the ideas that we have of limits are self-imposed, and then we can always exceed those and go beyond them. That's the most kind of critical message. But also in the course, we will teach how to relax completely, how to take breaks from the constant chatter of rational thought, to be able to be still inside, physically as well as mentally, and how those breaks are so important for performance. We can't just kind of have a constant onslaught of rational conscious thinking. Another message is the importance of the subconscious mind in decision making and in accessing more information than we're aware of. So you can tap into the potential of your subconscious, the power of it, in decision making, or in a sport like freediving. We can do whole dives where there's really little thought that happens, and you're just kind of programming the subconscious so that you can operate on autopilot. Many other techniques, but those would be some of the kind of key ones that participants would take home.
So quickly, tell me about the program. You've got how many days in Hawaii, and if for listeners that are here now, what would they expect to experience? A natural flow over that week.
Yeah, so it's a full week. But 5 days of the retreat where we're actually teaching. So the first day is everyone arrives, and we're staying in this beautiful place in Maui with full catering, gourmet meals made from local ingredients, and everything is extremely organic and healthy, with options that cater to people's dietary needs. And it's all inclusive, so all of that, as well as the diving, is included. We actually give the participants a full set of freediving gear, including wetsuit and fins. Take them with them at the end of the course. And then during most days, it's a combination of excursions to the sea, as well as classes in the pool where we're just doing straight breath holds, so depth and breath holds. And then afternoon sessions with Tom and also with myself, where we kind of discuss fairly casually and informally. It's not just like a PowerPoint presentation where we're speaking at you, but we're trying to kind of cater to people's personal, because it's a small group, we can make it a lot more tailor-made to people's situations.
Great.
So yeah, discussions and talks about what we've been talking about now, and going into more detail and making more examples, and then pulling up difficulties or experiences that the attendees having, and analyzing those and talking about potential solutions to those.
Awesome. So it sounds like it's going to be very personalized. There's going to be open dialogue, that there's going to be coaching according to the specific needs of each person, right?
Exactly. That's the beauty of these small groups, is that you can go into that kind of detail.
Yeah. So what we know from studies is that, if you go to a training and you're just listening to a trainer for 5 days, that 80% of the information is not retained. And so
it's going to get 90.
Yeah, exactly. So having experiences, having open dialogue, being coached, being in such a memorable, magical place is all going to support the unconscious programming of each participant, and helping them to really go away with being reprogrammed. Because that's the bottom line, is that if they can take that in at the deep unconscious level, then it's going to produce new behaviors and completely different results, which is what this is all about, it sounds like, right?
That's the idea, yeah. So reprogramming them and really realizing their own potentials.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what business
already exist.
is all about. It's all about performing the right behaviors. So in regards to the event, what are the dates? how can people find out about it? When they go for more information, why don't you give us some information on all this?
So the dates are December 2nd to the 8th this year in Maui, Hawaii. And for more information, visit deeperdevelopment.net. Deeperdevelopment.net.
Yep, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And there's a contact form there, or they can write to us directly at info@verticalblue.net. Either way. And we can answer any questions. And if they're interested in confirming, then sign them up.
That's great. Unbelievable. It's going to be an incredible 5 days with two of the world's best performers in two different fields, really. And very rare to get a chance with William and with Tom in such an intimate setting. And I think, the investment, and it is an investment, the investment for this is going to come back at least 10 times to you, I believe, from what I can see, is that it's going to transfer into value that it's invaluable. That's the only way I can describe it. And every time I hang out with you, William, it's invaluable, mate. So,
thank you.
Mate, awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, and it's been awesome to pick your brain a little bit and learn about the training down in Hawaii. And I wanted to wish you all the best in Tahiti, where you are right now.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing how getting a full report once the training is finished.
Yeah, we'll definitely release like a video recap or something afterwards.
That's great, mate. Excellent stuff.
Cool.
All right. Bye for now, mate. Well, thanks for joining us today, and I hope that you're as inspired by William as I am. It was an excellent interview. So good to see him connecting with leaders in the business world and sharing his knowledge about how to lead yourself and perform out of your mind like he does every day. So for more tips on leadership, performance, and how to succeed in business and life, go to carrollconsultancy.com, where you can download our selection of ebooks and subscribe to our weekly newsletter, Timothy's Thought for Thursday, which lands in your inbox every Thursday. And I also look forward to reading your comments on our blog. Once again, thanks for joining us. This is Timothy Carroll, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.